Okay guys, so for your gridding, which you may have done in the past, but just in case, a little demonstration, you're gonna need a ruler, a pencil, and an eraser. Okay, so if you're using the paper from the paper that I gave to you, you're going to measure so that the entire piece of paper has a grid on it. If you are working in your sketchbook or on a blank sheet of paper, you want to give yourself an 8 by 10 inch rectangle to work with that. And I have a separate video I can show if you need help with that. Okay, so I'm gonna line my ruler up at the top. So to make a grid, you need to always measure or connect rather 2 points of measurement. So at every inch, I'm going to make a small mark going in the same direction as the line that I'm going to do. So, and then I'm going to move my ruler down here, and anywhere along the bottom, just close to the bottom, it doesn't really matter where, but close to the bottom, I'm going to make the same marks an inch apart. Okay, and a grid is parallel lines going in one direction. When you move it the other way, they are going perpendicular. And so you want to make sure that all the lines are straight. And if you just number the top and not the bottom, it's really likely that your grid lines will go askew. So make sure that you connect 2 points and you always measure the top marks and the bottom marks. Okay. When I push down my pencil, I want to push down really lightly. Okay, because I'm going to be erasing the grid later. You don't want to look at the grid when we're done. So it's really important that you, that you draw it super light so your erasing is a lot easier later on. Okay, so I'm taking my time. A grid is not something you want to rush, because a grid, if you mess up in the middle, then you have to kind of erase and start all over again. So when you're working, you really want to be careful. Okay, so that's my first horizontal line. So they're all parallel, they're all 1 inch apart. And now I'm going to turn my page, okay, so that it's going in the opposite direction. And I actually have to adjust my ruler, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm actually going to line this up with the first inch line that I made, and I'm going to make marks at 1 inch apart. And this time I'm going to be going to 10 inches because the paper is 10 inches long and 8 inches wide. And same thing, move your ruler to the bottom. Ooh. Okay, and at every inch, make your mark. Okay, and now I'm going to connect these lines, and that will give me my grid, my 1 inch by 1 inch grid. Okay, pulling really lightly. I mean, I'm not even putting pressure on the pencil. I'm really just like lightly dragging my pencil across the ruler. Because I don't like later on when I see the portrait, I don't like to see all of the grid lines in there. That's my drawing secret. My drawing tool is revealed then. So I like to hide the grid because it hides the tool. All right, so you guys can kind of get a feeling for what this process looks like. When you're done, you'll know if you're right, if you can measure an inch. Each box is an inch wide, an inch tall. So they're little squares all over, okay? And the same squares you need to put on your photograph. So that's how you'll be able to draw what belongs in the top left square in the photo will go in the top left square of the drawing, and so on, okay? So we'll get to that part next. But the first thing you want to do before you get your materials or your photo and everything and start drawing is to set up your grid. Okay, so happy drawing.